Hey everyone, and welcome back to Nomifactory. So last episode we made a start on our base transition and we started to lay down some more infrastructure that we're going to need in order to get vending. We built up some machine concepts for the fluid solidifiers, the double stage processes, and all of the passive single block machines. We got 6 more assembly lines added for extra speed. We rebuilt pulsating polymer clay, hopefully for the last time, and shuffled some things around here at DML. And yes, I know I've seen your guys' comments, the simulation supercomputer. The multi-block replacement for this thing, and I would love to build that thing, but it costs a heart of the universe. And that was the thing we spent 2 episodes back trying to get, so that's quite a ways off before we can get a few of those things. But don't worry, we will invest in those as soon as we can. And finally, we got our processing arrays moved over. I did finish moving the rest of these things. They now no longer exist down in the old location. So yeah, you see all these machines down here? Well, they all need to go today. Ideally today. Some of them we have to set up again. For example, night slime or dilithium, we have to set these up again. However, I would say the majority of them, for example, this pyrolyze oven, the whole epoxy line, this can all be ripped out today. So this is a very necessary process, one that's probably going to take me all day, maybe 2 days even. So I'm probably not going to show it all, but yeah, the reason we're doing this and rebuilding is to optimize the setups, as most of them are way too slow for the amount of materials that we'll need moving forward. Plus we get to reclaim a bunch of this old stuff. Although we should probably do it in some sort of order. Just picking random multi-blocks here and demolishing them is a way to lose track of what you're doing. So let's start at the beginning here. With the circuits, so I've started here at tier 3s. So obviously if we have these on passive, we have to create all of the input items as well. So the aluminium wire I have over here, we're just importing wire from our AE system, and the wire is made in the 2-stage processes over here. For circuit crafting, we do also need to think about fluids. So fluids is not something that we currently have available to our AE system, at least not with our new setups here. So I'm thinking that we add this new block on the end here. This is going to be for a bunch of these creative tanks. It's really unfortunate these things don't stack. Yeah, so we can lay out something like this, and then we'll put fluid storage buses on these. The fluid storage bus allows our applied energistic system to send... Oh, that's not what we want. Yeah, we should really disconnect these before we set them up, because we absolutely want to make sure these are on extract only. And I think I'm correct in saying that the memory card, we can copy and paste settings on this. Yeah, so if we have this one on extract only, can we then copy the settings and paste it onto the other ones? Does this stay extract only? Oh, it does. Nice. Oh, that is so nice. That saves us a lot of time here. So all of the circuit crafts can actually take solder and alloy or tin. Solder and alloy obviously being used less. So, I mean, now that we have creative fluids, we may as well use solder and alloy, right? And we can just filter this into the fluid interface next to the assembly machine, pull it in with a pump, and yeah, output to the drawer here. You know, as great as conduits are, you can't deny that the fact that these GT covers are amazing. It makes it so clean, and you can even put facades on the front here. So yeah, at this point, I'm just going to get cracking on this and try to demolish as much as we can. A lot of the setups will be more or less the exact same, although things like the wet wares, I think we're going to put in PAs, just because we need so many of these things, right? Oh yeah, same with these things, the glowstone elevation units, I think these start at 100 seconds each. 100 seconds at IV, so yeah, that's definitely getting a processing array. Oh boy, if something breaks, it's not my fault. Don't blame me. I've basically just completely lost track of time here. It's been, I don't know how many hours now, like 2 hours? And it doesn't look much different, does it? I mean, there's still quite a lot we're missing here, but I did manage to move over the vast majority of EV+. I haven't emptied all of the drawers. There is still a few things with like hundreds of thousands of items in it. Yeah, like these ones over here for magnesium, all these dusts. Some of them, like the silicon here, has almost 400,000 dust in it. So probably what we do there is just pack and tape it and void the drawer. But one thing is becoming clear here, and that is we are missing a few pieces of vital infrastructure in our base. Actually, we'll keep this drawer controller here. We can use this first. We'll put this on low priority. Oh, I love the item pickup sound as well. Oh, it keeps going. That was a lot of sand. Anyways, one thing is becoming apparent here, and that is we need more space onto the new sections of our base. There is some things that we're missing for a few of these machine processes. For example, for Solarium, we are missing soul sand automation, which basically comes down to the fact that we need crafters. There's one more that I left over here for quantum flux, but we do definitely need to set up a space which can handle multiple of these, well, more than multiple, hundreds of these mechanical crafters. So I'm thinking that we put that over this end of the base, actually. This will be in some new chunks, but we can unload those ones once we demolish those. And I think we'll start with 6 chunks. That should be enough for just crafters, right? So our goal here in the next week is to passive all of the microminers, and the microminer crafting, if we just take a random microminer, the tier 3, for example, thrusters have to be made in crafting tables, and this gets extremely nested, and this is basically going to be 1 crafting table per recipe. So yeah, that adds up to a lot of crafting tables here. Maybe let's try to auto-craft like 400? Is that too many? No, that's not too many. So we're gonna use these mechanical crafters from extra utilities actually, and we're gonna take advantage of the fact that they can automatically pull items that they need from adjacent inventories. So, like for example, if we have a interface to supply rubber wood and we want to craft planks, we can just input the recipe and it will pull from the adjacent inventory to craft its recipe. And that means we don't have to set any insert filters. It just means that we have to somehow get the items out of here and into some sort of a storage. It'd be really nice if we had translocators in this pack, but I think the best option honestly is just to do conduits. And we can copy and paste settings on the extracts. That should make it quite simple to set up, I think. Especially when you were doing hundreds of these things. So what if we had to lay out something like this? Is very space inefficient, but it looks cool, so we're gonna do it this way. And I have a feeling we may not be able to saturate all of these little sections here. But I would rather have too much space than not enough space. So it's going to be interface, crafter, drawer, drawer, crafter, interface, and then interface, crafter, drawer. Yeah. I think that can work. Hold on. Okay, maybe 4 chunks was a little bit too many. We're going to start with 2, and we'll make it symmetrical on both sides. I think we can use the same memory card trick if we copy and paste the interface settings to hide it from the terminal. So many clicks. Especially setting up all those machines over there, with all the robot arms and the filters on each one. So we need to give some power to these interfaces. We can just run some conduit up the floor. And where they're touching like this, AE should send the channel directly through them all. We only have to power 1 on the line. And then just run all of this through to our central line, which should connect up in the middle of this chunk here. Alright, so what's left is to hook up some drawer controllers to this. We want these drawer networks exposed to our AE system, so we use a drawer controller. And we also have to extract from the crafters into this controller block. So we can just run some item conduit along the crafters here. This will all be extract on blue. No conduit montage today, I'm definitely using the conduit probe this time. And insert blue the drawer controller. And just repeat this process for all of these things. Which allows us to add the 2 input ingredients into this interface here, set the recipe in the crafter, and we have soul sand on passive. I'm also going to add the impossible realm data. I think that was the only other one that we came across so far at least. This is the extraterrestrial matter and solidified experience, which we can actually just fluid solidify from liquid exp now. Set the drawer and it should automatically fill this thing, assuming we got all the conduits configured correctly. The last thing though I guess is just a storage bus on the drawer controller. This will be on high priority as well. So yeah, it's a pretty simple setup, very easy to scale this as well. And this should be able to handle all of the passive crafting recipes that we're going to need to finish this pack. You know what, one thing that I did forget about here is the glowstone elevation units. So we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit because these are used in the flux thrusters, or the warp engines tiers 7, 8 and 9. But this does actually lead us on to our next project for today. Oh, are we out of fused quartz as well? I guess we do have to passive this. Yep, alloy smelter, interface, robot arm, import, nether quartz. Drawer, set the direction of the machine, automatic output, and we're done. So yeah, I should maybe mention that these machines on this line here are all IV. A lot of these things we don't need them to be that fast, considering they are passive. Now the crafter is crafting it. We are going to limit this one just because it takes flux electrum. But all of these do go over to this new PA here, which I did add for glowstone elevation units. And we also got one here for the lava crystals, used in draconic fusion crafting. We will be passive in fusion crafting soon, so it means that we do have to passive this as well. And of course, wetware circuits we have here, which it appears we are now out of because of ASOCs. Yeah, I don't think I got around to that yet, but I think we're actually going to end up fixing... Oh my gosh, so many chickens. How did you escape? Huh? Where did you come from? Yeah, so the next thing we want to take care of is all of these blast furnaces, which have to stay as blast furnaces. There's no way for us to solidify these things like the flux electrum, the wafers, and the crystal CPUs. There is also a few more for the heavy plating as well. I think the total number of blast furnaces required post-tank is only 6. But we are going to need a space for these things, and also our vacuum freezers as well. So these things are going to go on the opposite side, I think. We'll leave one more chunk available for processing arrays, since we'll definitely need maybe even triple the amount that we have here. And we'll put the blast furnaces in the next... Oh wow, 415 heat proofs. I guess that was from all the ones we reclaimed over here. But yeah, the total number we need is actually 6. Alright, so we got the first of them set up here for an aqueduct wafers. Well, actually this gives us the bulls, right? And I realized that when I was setting up the cutting machines, I forgot to actually add them back into the interface. So these builds we don't want to store as builds, we can just cut them all into wafers, which means we should be able to add them just to one of these interfaces right here. And then on the blast furnace, we've got the level emitter based on the Naquada wafers. Actually, we can go much, much higher than this. Let's go for like 20,000 wafers. There's no need to buffer that many. That's just taking up space in the drives, right? But yeah, we also got space for the vacuum freezer, the implosion compressor, and 2 multi smelters over here. The rest will all be EBFs. Also, we're in the late game. There is absolutely no need to be using HSSG coils anymore. The ugliest coil in the game, by far. Naquada definitely suits this place better. Oh boy, this game really has a way of pulling you in. So I got a little bit carried away after I set up those blast furnaces there. I've been working a bit more on trying to clear up this area down here. But yeah, we got a bunch of the essential processes up here, including the SOCs and ASOCs. I did fix this. And then we have the cutting machines over here for the wafers. I really wanted to just get all of these machines wired in so that it's super, super easy just to add some more fluids, give it the mold, and then give it the drawer. But yeah, the more I'm working up here in this new area, the more I'm really, really not liking this area down below here. And the quicker I want to remove this, especially this DML setup here, but that's going to take forever. I don't know if we're going to do that, honestly. But yeah, I guess I should show you this little setup here with the blast furnaces. So we got flux electrum, which we still have to actually automate the dust for. Same for mana infused ingots. Obviously the wafers we had before. We have superconductor wire, which we still have to passive here. But yeah, we also got engraved crystal chips, and these two are going to be for the heavy plating, which they're not hooked up yet. Implosion compressor on the end, and 2 multi smelters with all of our patterns inside. But just looking at this again, I think really all that's left to move over is a lot of these dusts. We need to do aluminum and signalum again, flux electrum, and also mana dust. But I think those we'll do in between episodes. It's really just a matter of filtering those machines up there. The other thing I would like to get done this episode is to move our Microverse projectors. So we are going to need quite a bit of space for each one of these, and we're going to have 1 per microminer. Oh wait, are we going to clear this thing? No, I think this is going to be in the way here. Yeah, once we passively set up the crafting for the microminers themselves, we do need the Microverse to be able to send the mission. And there is maybe a way we can share them, but the Microverse projectors are cheap enough, so I think it's easier just to have 1 per recipe. So what I'm thinking here is we leave another 1 chunk available for assembly lines, so that leaves 12 in a row, and then we mirror it on this side here as well, so we have 24 total assembly lines. I'm thinking that we put Draconic Fusion on this side of the base though. That's going to take up at least another 6, or maybe more chunks. We can go this way infinitely. And then the Microverse projectors we'll put underneath here. This dragon egg here is going to have to go though. I did not mean to break that there. One thing is definitely for sure, and that is we have lost some efficiency. I feel like things are taking forever to do now. And I said we weren't going to pay attention much to aesthetics, but this is off-centered and it's not symmetrical. And it has to be. Oh hey, you know what? The map actually looks pretty cool. I'm liking this quite a bit actually. Anyway, so I double checked, went through all the recipes, and we need 4 small Microverse projectors, 2 medium and 4 large. So what is the best way to set these up? I think maybe the large we put across the back. These are very large though to stack together. Can we fit 4 in 3 chunks? I think we can make it work, right? Maybe the small we put on the 2 ends and the 2 medium we put in the middle. Like this. Yeah, and then maybe we wire from above. Yeah, I like that idea. And we're going to work smart here by using the copy paste tool. I don't think it imports the tile entities, so we still have to place like the energy hatches in the input buses. The small projectors all, I think, take rocket fuel, so we can put a creative tank underneath. And these missions I think will run at ZPM. And we'll put the input bus and output bus on the tops. Input bus, output bus. Okay, good. That's all the small ones. Now for the medium. I think we still have to build it once before we can copy it, right? Oh, that's right. We also need the blocks of diamonds, which we're now up to 200,000. That's still nowhere near the amount that we used a couple of episodes back. I think I was told it was around 1 million that we used. It's something crazy like that. Very good. Medium is done. Now just for the large. I have a feeling this is going to take me a little while. Actually, I don't think that was too bad. We got all the Microverse projectors in place. I'm just in the middle of wiring them all up right now. So the large ones we got wired up from the top, actually. And these medium and small, we've got the wires coming up from the bottom. So yeah, we want ZPM CEF to power it, energy conduit to power that, and then ME conduit all the way up to the top where we can have our interfaces and things to supply the items. Although I think, to be honest, this is the state that we're going to leave them in. Just wired up and ready to go. A bit like the rest of our base over there. But what I'm hoping is going to happen here is we can just end up plugging things in when we need it, and we have all the infrastructure in place. You guys are going to see, it's going to all come together at some point soon. I really hope. I'm really hoping. Yeah, we should grab some rocket fuel here, just so we can fill in all these creative tanks. And yeah, that's going to be our Microverse room. So because we're leaving it like this and we don't have any of the microminers passive yet, we're going to leave these ones set up since we have the automations here to be able to send the mission through EU2. But we are almost at the stage here where we can start to passive these microminers. Before we can start to passive things though, we do have to look at our power. More eggs. Oh my goodness, this chicken. So the power is going to become an issue once we start to have passive assembly lines and we start to send microminers automatically. That is going to take up billions and billions of RF, especially fusion crafting. So this thing right now is currently full, which is a very good sign. It means that we are overproducing on power. But yeah, that ain't going to last forever once we start expanding our passive processes again. So I think now that we got the tank, we should maybe look at upgrading that power ball over there. Let's see how much this is going to set us back. Obviously we still have the energy core. Oh, that's right, this is 378 awakened draconium. That's what makes it so expensive. And awakened, oh no, we can't fluid solidify this. Oh, I thought we can fluid solidify that. Well, that makes things very easy. Do we have any awakened draconium right now? Yeah, you always have to double check these fluid solidification recipes. Let's see where we got a space here. Another egg. Yeah, we'll place it up here, I think. And is there anything else we need for this that we don't yet have? I don't think so, right? We have the 36 stabilizers. Although we should decide a location before we break this thing though, because we will void all the power. And I don't really want to keep it here either, so something's telling me to put it right here though. It's pretty central on the base, although the only thing is where are we going to put our generators? Okay, you know what? I think this can work. Don't mind this spaghetti cable right here. I just want to make sure that we keep our input and output lines separate. But for now, we're going to join up these lines. So yeah, we start with the energy pylons, which have to have glass on top. This one will be the input, so arrows pointing towards the center. This one will be the output. And this thing we have connected up to one of the lines in our base here, the main central backbone line. And now I think we're about to void 2.14 trillion RF. Once we break the core, I think. Wait, just to make sure the AE system is still in line. Okay, good. I think we're safe here. It's just a matter of moving all these blocks over. So I think the max size is 15 by 15. We can just select the tier 8. Now we should just be able to assemble this thing again. Oh yeah. There's something very satisfying about doing this every time. It never gets old doing this. Have we got all the blocks? I think we do. Nope, we're missing a few. Is it finished? I think it finished. We need the core stabilizers on here as well. Let's place them one block out. I didn't know these things emitted light. That's very interesting. Oh, that thing is definitely bigger than the one we had before, right? Let's disconnect this line over here to see if it fills. Please tell me you're receiving power. Apparently 110 years to fill this thing. Oh, wait a second. 2.8 thousand years to fill this thing. If we keep it at 5 million RF per tick, which is apparently how much we're making. Yeah, and that's excess even, because this thing is actually extracting power into the rest of our base. Oh, as it went up to 3,000, I'm sure I've seen a 3 there, yeah. 3,000 years to fill this thing. So it's safe to say we got enough energy storage now. We are, I think, one more time going to have to look at power generation. But I think we're going to save that for next episode. We're going to keep this one nice and short today. You know, actually, we did get quite a bit of this moved over. Some of these drawers I'll have to move. I'll do that between episodes, I think. Almost all of this we can tear out. I think I got all of that replaced up there as well. So actually, it's just HV and MV. and some of the early LV machines over here that we have to remove. But anyways guys, thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all soon for some more Nomifactory.